U.S. President Barack Obama has condemned the murder of 2 New York City police officers. Police say a man approached the officers' car and shot them through the window while they were on patrol in Brooklyn. A social media post suggests that the shooting was in retaliation for the police chokehold death of Eric Garner, who died in July. Shihab Ratansi has more from Washington, D.C.
Authorities think they've put together the chain of events that led to the killing of the 2 police officers in Brooklyn, New York. Ismail Brinsley first traveled to the home of an ex-girlfriend in Baltimore. He shot and wounded her. He then posted a message on Instagram saying, quote, "I'm putting wings on pigs today. They take one of ours. Let's take 2 of theirs." He invoked the names of Michael Brown and Eric Garner, 2 black men, well, 1 black youth and 1 black man who killed by police officers, even though they were unarmed. No police officers face any prosecution as a result of their killings. The Baltimore authorities then did attempt, apparently, to alert authorities in New York about this Instagram posting, but apparently their message only got through half an hour before the killings actually took place. Ismail Brinsley then shot 2 patrolmen in their car in the area of Brooklyn in New York at point-blank range. He then fled to a nearby subway station and killed himself. As you would expect, condemnation coming in from various areas: the president, the mayor of New York, civil rights leaders, those leading the demonstrations that have been continuously mounted since the killing of Michael Brown, the youth in Missouri, by police officers, all of them condemning this killing. Perhaps most interesting, though, has been the reaction of the New York Police Department. The head of the union said there's blood on many hands tonight. Those that incited violence on the streets under the guise of protest that try to tear down the NYPD officers every day. We try to warn it must not go on, it cannot be tolerated. They also, well, the head of the union also said that the blood on the hands starts at the steps of City Hall in the office of the mayor. This obviously a reference then to Mayor de Blasio, the New York mayor, who has spoken in favor of the protest, his own fears for his son, who is black, and his interactions with the police department. It raises several questions. One, does the New York Police Department really think that the protests that have been ongoing since August are simply about inciting violence, or are they actually protesting what protesters feel is systemic violence against the black community? Young black men are killed at a rate of 21 times higher than their white counterparts by the police. And another statement from the New York Police Union is of some concern. Quote, "We have become a wartime police department. We will act accordingly." If that is the case, the question is, who does the New York Police Department feel it is at war with?
Andrew Stoll is a criminal defense and civil rights lawyer in New York. He joins us now. And let me pick up on the point that we were just hearing there about the reaction from the main police union in New York City. Are these shootings likely to add to that feeling that the police, the security forces there, are, that feeling that they're under attack, if you like?
It shouldn't. I mean, these union chiefs don't speak for our society, and I don't even think they're appropriately speaking on behalf of the rank and file officers at this point. Look, this is not us versus them. You know, strengthening police accountability strengthens the police, and these protests have been, for the vast majority of them, have been positive and peaceful and really. Like I say, positive protests and fixing this police department fixes society as a whole and strengthens us all. So I think those comments are sad and dismaying and really indicative of how out of touch these union chiefs are with what the mayor and the real elected officials are trying to do, which is just to create positive changes.
Right, because they criticized the mayor, didn't they, for not offering enough support to the police department during a recent wave of anti-police violence. How can you tackle that feeling of us and them, that kind of polarization, that division? What needs to happen now to bridge the divide?
Well, I think the mayor is continuing to speak out both in support of the police and in support of these peaceful protesters. there needs to be a recognition that there are entire societies that have legitimate grievances, and these union chiefs are seemingly oblivious to the fact that entire parts of the society are disenfranchised. And they don't seem to recognize that it's possible to have a different perspective and a different point of view about what's happening on the streets, and that millions and millions of people across the country are not delusional. They have legitimate grievances that they are airing in peaceful ways.
Why then has that recognition not been forthcoming?
Like I said, these are people who are not elected by our society. I think it's a sort of knee-jerk protection, a knee-jerk perception that they need to protect the rank and file, and that any change is anti-cop. But again, these changes are not anti-cop. They're pro-cop. They're to strengthen the effectiveness of the policing in this city, and to strengthen the trust that the community has in the police. So I can't speak for why Patrick Lynch doesn't understand that changes need to take place, but it's been decades in the making, and decades of people saying that change needs to come. And we have a real administration in place here in New York City, from the mayor on down, that seems to recognize that he represents the entire city, not just one small contingency of the city, not just he's not in the pocket of the unions. And so I think there's some pushback there, but I'm really optimistic that over time things are going to improve. There's going to be positive changes. Look, these protests on the street, they've been largely peaceful, and the police response to the protests has been largely effective and peaceful. It's really been a good demonstration all around about how people can air their grievances in a peaceful way, and how the city can tolerate dissent and debate. But you're obviously not hearing that from the union chiefs.
Andrew Stoll in New York, thank you.